Here are the Tales from Tech Support stories for this video, but before we start, here's the top comment for today's video. Thanks for the support. Without further ado, here we go. Full stop, what the F answers that make me speechless. We have all been there. You are trying to determine the cause of an issue, so you ask various questions. Sometimes you get that one answer that just so basic and technically the truth that you have to just stop and do a double take. Did they just say that? You almost feel like you hit a brick wall. This is just a small compilation of these tales. First one was a session that came in using the remote tool saying her internet doesn't work. Now, the remote tool requires the internet to work, so her internet was working. This one has a double WTF answer that caused me to just stand up and take a wooza moment. Me. Hello, this is me with IT. How may I assist? User. My internet is not working. Me. Well, I see we are connecting on remote tool, so it appears your internet is working. What are you trying to connect to that is failing? The internet. Right. What websites are you trying to access? The North Dakota housing website. Okay, go ahead and try to go there and I will take over. She goes there and the site fails to load. I copy paste the URL into my PC and it fails to load for me too. Me. Okay, it looks like their website is down. User. No, I don't think so. It's a government website. Me. Yeah, that's par for the course for a state website. User. No, it has to be my internet. Me. Madam, we are currently connected over the internet. User. No, we are on my Wi-Fi. I just stared at my screen for a few seconds before I could respond. Second one was a print issue that was not a print issue. I'll explain. Guy was having issues with printer printing random numbers of copies of everything he printed. Me. Thank you for calling IT. This is me. Hey, this is user. My printer is on the fritz again. Okay, what is it doing? Well, when I go to print, it prints random numbers of copies. How so? Like, what do you mean by random numbers? Well, first it printed 2 copies, then 7, and then tried to print 47. Yeah, that's definitely random numbers. Where are you trying to print from? User. My computer. I had to take a second for that to click and mute my mic to keep from saying, oh my god. The issue was he spilled coffee on the number pad, part of his keyboard, and it was firing off. Call comes in from a girl about her password not working. Thank you for calling, this is me. Hello, my passwords are not working. Okay, are you getting an error message when you log in or does it say invalid username or pass? Invalid. Okay, what are you trying to log into? Everything. Deep sigh. I had to stare at that one for a bit. I took her to the password self-service site and got her password reset. Then I clocked out and walked to my car in a daze of pure stupidity. Later, we had a call come in that was transferred to me. Me. Hello, this is me with IT. How may I assist? I need to report that our office is off Wi-Fi and on the internet. Me. Freezes for a second as I make a derp face. Okay, thanks for reporting it. She called back and reporting the same thing 4 times as if saying that will make us do anything to fix it. She wanted back on Wi-Fi. Her office was handled by a building management company. We could do nothing. How one smoke detector could have potentially injured 10 people. This story about how one smoke detector could have saved or potentially killed 10 people. I work as a tech at my local hospital. We have 2 offices that we work out of depending on what shift we're working. First shift works in the main office, second and third worked out of our server room. Being that it was Saturday, I was the only person in IT there that day, so my office was completely empty except for me. As I'm doing my normal thing in our main office, like closing tickets and praying no one calls, I hear a code red gets called over the intercom for the floor I'm on. Now, code red in our hospital means there is a fire, one person from each floor grabs a fire extinguisher and get to that floor ASAP. Our office takes up about half of the floor. The code red is called on the other side where all of the nurses are. Since there are 10 nurses working at any given time and I'm half a floor over, I just ignore it and go back to what I'm doing. A minute or two passes and that code red gets updated to fire alert data center. At this point, my head pops up like a meerkat and I let out a blood-curdling holy shit. And I'm pretty sure I left a trail of visible light behind me as I cleared an entire floor in the matter of a few seconds. This was the case because I know that all nurse managers have a master key that can open up the doors to our server room. Now, as I'm sure you are all aware, in a server room, fire halant gas is released to suffocate the fire. And these 10 people who are unaware of this are walking into this directly. As I make my way to the hallway where our server room is, I see the door shut behind the last person going in. I open up the door to hear if the halant sirens are going off, and thankfully they were silent. The halant gas didn't get released and there was no fire in our server room, thank God. What happened was that we had a contractor installing rafters above our servers in case the floor above us would flood. The rafters would drain the water away from the servers and save them. What the genius didn't do was clean off the top of the servers. There were chunks of ceiling tile and enough dust to turn the black servers white. Enough dust was kicked up by moving air to set off a smoke detector and trigger the code red. Our halant gas gets released when 2 smoke detectors are triggered. Only one was set off in this major blunder. It was at this point when my boss came in that we realized that we don't have any procedures for when we have a server fire. Also, what you have to take into account is that these nurses aren't bringing halant fire extinguishers as well, so they weren't doing us any favor by trying to put it out. So you guys decide, was it one smoke detector that saved 10 people, or was it one that could have killed 10 people? You cut what? My coworker and I worked on a help desk for Tier 1 troubleshooting at a financial institution. We only took calls for internal clients and actual stores around the country. We did internet troubleshooting, printers, phones, and DSL lines, so we always had the usual, the computer doesn't work when it was really off. Now on to the main event. My coworker got a call from a sender stating that the internet is down. He pings the router and all is good. However, he is unable to ping any of the computers. He gets them set up on the backup dial-up. The store calls him back their cell phone. He continues to work on finding the reason for the outage. After about an hour of troubleshooting, they decided to start again the next day. The next day arrives and he continues to troubleshoot the issue. Eventually, he had the store trace the wire from the router to the switch and ensures they are plugged in properly. Connections on both ends are good. Well, that's a no-go. He's asking some questions and finally the store said the following. Store: recently we did some renovations and there was a blue cable going across the top of the door and we cut it so they could paint the wall. You could hear my co-worker's soul just break. He put them on hold and took off his headset and looked defeated. After a minute, he got back on the phone and asked them why they just cut random cables. They responded that they didn't think it was important. Eventually, we ended up getting a technician dispatched to their location to fix the issue. Moral of the story, don't cut random cables. So those were the stories for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, a like will be highly appreciated. It really does help my channel out. Also, if you enjoyed this and want to stay up to date on the latest videos, then don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for listening and I'll see you in the next video.